So, sehr gerne mehr. Hallo und herzlich willkommen zurück am Stück bei Lamplight City. Wir waren jetzt mal hier stehen geblieben. Das war jetzt noch eine Weile her. Und ich habe keine Ahnung, was ich da tun soll.
Etheric pressure. What a bunch of nonsense.
Warte mal. Hat sie die Sprache verstellt? Und die Landessprache Deutsch, okay. Button. Notes.
Oh, now, this is interesting.
Nee, ist nett. Weil es gerade eigentlich alles auf Englisch ist. Oh mein Gott, okay, ja. Das ist immer ein typischer Fehler. Und zwar war gerade alles Englisch. Und dann muss man die Sprache umstellen und dann wieder auf Deutsch, damit es Deutsch ist.
This is interesting.
Warum ist es interessant? Auswirkungen der Ätherizität, Flora, größere Strahlen in Blüten. Die Produktion von Chlorophyll scheint sich zu verdreifachen. Das Wurzelwerk wurde verstärkt und die Absorptionsrate von Nährstoffen wird erhöht. Zusammenfassend, Pflanzen gedeihen unter Kontakt mit geringer Menge von Ätherizität. Die Langzeitwirkung kann nur durch weitere Beobachtung festgestellt werden. Auswirkungen der Ätherizität, Fauna, beeinflussen das Gehirns. Wird man das immer schon gelesen. Okay, was mir?
Etheric pressure. What a bunch of nonsense.
Ich weiß nicht. Ich fand's witzig. Wir haben keine Gegenstände, so. Das heißt, wir können eh nur mit Leuten reden.
Just a bunch of technical nonsense. I can't understand a word of it.
Okay, gut. Ich würde es gerne lesen, vielleicht verstehe ich ja was, aber okay. Das war Karte, beziehungsweise Notizbuch. Schuldigschwör trägt er die Schuld daran, dass die Brief fast lebendig begraben wurde. Weiß man als Bewohner des Dupré-Herrenhauses befragen, Albert Martin im Gefängnis befragen, Grabmal des Schiffsrissen untersuchen. Okay. Hinweis Dr. Fellows Aussage, Pinzette und Dr. Tennysons Stimulanzpillen, Verdächtige niemand, Dokumente Nachricht von Uptown, der Brief von Friedhof Farmer, da hat nichts geklappt, da müssen wir am Bow Street Körper vorbeischauen. Ich glaube, hier kann man jetzt auch nichts mehr finden, meine ich.
Hey, Eddie. Here I am.
Seeing you come home always puts a smile on my face. So what's this big case Upton's got you on? Another missing pet?
If only. A Gascon Grand Dame was attacked and almost interred alive.
You mean Madame Dupré? The one whose obituary was in the paper?
The very same.
Goodness, that does sound serious. Tell me if there's anything I can do to help. I know you haven't been feeling your best lately.
You're always a help to me, Addie. Though I assure you I have this well in hand.
I certainly hope so.
Okay, sehr schön. Zeitung. Gab's was Neues? Nö. Mit ihr reden?
Addie?
Yes, dear?
Das gibt's nie. Arbeit über sich selbst, Madame Dupré. Wir fangen mal nach.
How's work going? Do you have any appointments today?
Yes, one this evening. It's been a bit slow lately, but pretty soon it'll be debutante ball season, and all the Gascon Grand Dames will need their hair done. You sure I can't convince you to let me give you a little trim? You've been looking awfully scruffy lately.
What's the point? I've got no need to go peacocking around town. You're the only girl for me.
I like it when you're clean cut. It brings out your eyes.
The way my eyes have been looking lately, I think it's best to keep them hidden.
Über sie selbst?
How are you? It feels as though we haven't seen much of each other these past few days.
I've been fine.
Addie, you're not a very good liar. What's on your mind?
I'm worried about you, Miles.
I know, but I've told you there's no need to worry about me. I'm all right.
You're not all right, Miles. I may not be a good liar, but you can't fool me either.
I am all right. What do I have to do to convince you of that?
You could start by throwing out that sleeping medicine. It's turned you into a different person.
I needed to sleep, Addie. I'll become an even worse person without it, believe me.
I know Bill's death was hard for you. It was hard for all of us. But whatever it is that's bothering you, you know you can talk to me about it. That's what I'm here for.
I know, my love. Your support means the world to me. I need some time to deal with things. That's all. It won't always be like this, I promise.
Making promises you can't keep, eh, Miles? That'll end well.
Ja, ich kann sie verstehen. Warum sie sagt, hör doch auf damit. Weil sie schon ein bisschen verheizt aus, trotz Schlafmedikamente und dass er schläft. Ja, ne? Aber okay. Madame Dupré.
Do you know anything about Madame Dupré?
I've read that the Duprés are one of the few wealthy families that exclusively employ real people to serve. Rather commendable, don't you think?
Yes. It makes it even more baffling why she was attacked. Have you heard any gossip from your clients? Anything about who might have wanted to harm her?
Nothing. She's held in the highest regard by the other Grand Dames. If she had actually died, I'd have expected them to petition her canonization.
Ihr ein Kompliment machen. Oh, das wäre doch nett.
I've still got that song you sang last week at the Rutherford stuck in my head. You were amazing.
Thank you, Miles. That was a lovely evening. I always enjoy it when Joseph brings out his violin and we can relive the old days.
Certainly nicer than when he spends hours telling the exact same story whenever you visit.
They were very glad to see you, you know.
It's probably the most fun I've had in months, to be honest.
They've invited us for dinner again in a couple of weeks, if you're feeling up to it.
I hope I am.
Übers Buch, ne?
What's that you're reading?
It's a collection of short stories by James Penstroke. It was just published earlier this month.
Any good?
Oh yes, I love his work. He's been publishing a new serial in Brentwell magazine. I can't wait to read it. Perhaps we both can together? I think you'd enjoy him.
Lately, I haven't been able to concentrate on a page for more than 5 minutes without nodding off.
That is a pity.
I'll let you get back to your book.
Gut, dann Karte. Weiter waren sie zu Hause. Ich will zufällig angezeigt werden, wo wir gerade sind. Müssen wir noch selbst daran orientieren. Ferris Lane war man nicht. Friedhof. Oder waren wir dort? Doch, hier waren wir.
I wonder what sort of fertilizer or growth tonic these plants are getting. Whatever it is, it's definitely working.
Ja. Okay, gut. Ich denke, wir finden hier im Großen und Ganzen nichts mehr
They appear to be
Interessantes.
scientific scribblings. I can't make heads nor tails of them.
That makes 2 of us.
Gut. Wir gehen nochmal raus. Und wir werden in den Kerker gehen und dann gehen wir noch zu Compton Street 451.
Fordham? Is that you? You look like something a cat spat up.
Hello, Giles. It's lovely to see you too.
What brings you round the jail? I thought you'd quit being a detective.
I'm looking to speak with Mr. Albert Martin.
Oh, I see. Well, that's him in the first cell there. I'd say what needs saying as quick as you can, though. He's headed for the gallows in the morning.
What? Already? But what about a trial?
No trial necessary when there's black magic involved. This little half-breed's already sealed his fate.
Such a charming fellow, isn't he?
Okay, Trichter.
I bet that's a direct line to the police department. You should make a rude noise into it when Giles isn't paying attention. He's watching you like a hawk. Looks liable to toss you in one of his cells if you try any funny business.
Leere Zelle.
Either crime is low, or the police aren't doing their jobs very well. Not much in the way of comfort. No bed or even a bucket. It's a good thing this place is meant for short stays.
Ja, das ist sogar eine Peitsche noch, eine Zange. Oh mein Gott. Gibt's hier sonst noch was? Irgendwie, gut, ich denke es nicht, außer ihn. Albert Martin. Guten Tag, der Herr.
Mr. Martin?
Who are you? My lawyer?
No, I'm actually here to help you. The name's Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator.
How are you going to help me?
I'm looking into the attack on Madame Dupré. I believe you're innocent.
Oh, thank heaven. That's music to my ears.
Would you mind answering a few questions for me?
Friend, if it means saving me from the noose, I'll tell you nothing less than God's truth.
Interesting choice of phrase for someone accused of using black magic.
So, Madame Dupré selbst.
What can you tell me about Madame Dupré?
What's to tell? She's a twisted, evil woman who got what was coming to her. Whoever attacked her deserves some sort of reward for the service they're doing the community.
So it wasn't you then?
No, I'm innocent, Mr. Fordham. You have to believe me.
I'm afraid you're not making that very easy right now, Mr. Martin.
Er wird Hund von Dupré. Ja, weil mit der Aussage macht es ihm gerade wirklich einfach.
Do you know anything about the circumstances of Madame Dupre's supposed death?
No, I had nothing to do with it.
Then why did her son accuse you?
Probably because he's just as ignorant as she is.
What I meant was, how did her son know to accuse you? Have you had any contact with the family before?
Yes, you could say that.
Uh-oh. That gleam in his eye says it all.
You see, I'm involved with Dupre's daughter, Juliette Montgomery. Dupré doesn't like that one bit. She even threatened me once.
Is that right?
Yes. She might have everyone else fooled, but that woman is the devil incarnate. I can't understand how something so heartless and cruel could have spawned someone as pure and loving as my dear Juliette.
He's not really helping his case much, is he?
Erzähl was über Juliette, mein Freund, mein kleiner Verliebter.
Tell me about Juliette.
She's wonderful. Such a beautiful, kind soul. She hasn't come to see me yet, but I'm sure that's because of all the confusion in the last few days. Juliette wouldn't believe for a second that I would be capable of harming her mother. I'm sure of it.
How did you two get involved?
We met at the university.
Your classmates?
Hardly. They wouldn't allow someone like me to enroll there. Juliette studies botany. I work as an assistant in the greenhouse. We started talking, and she actually treated me like a person. To everyone else, I was just the boy who fetched the test tubes. But Juliette actually wanted to hear what I had to say, had the same taste in books and art, didn't just treat me like some piece of gardening equipment. She even shared some of her notes with me after I told her I was interested in botany as well. From there, things just got better. I don't expect you to understand or approve, but that's how it happened.
Oh, you'd be surprised. It doesn't sound too different to how my wife and I got together. Except I was a detective and she was a singer at a bar.
And she's...
Yes, Mr. Martin. Anyway, back to the matter at hand. How often is Juliette in the greenhouse?
Every weekday, but I doubt she's there now. She's probably trying to find out where I am and working to have me released.
Somehow, I wouldn't bet on that.
Aufgabe notiert, okay. Über ihn selbst?
How did you end up in here?
I was just minding my own business at home when the police showed up with no warning. They made some outrageous claims about me putting some sort of curse on Madame Dupré. The next thing I knew, I was here. Oh, Mama must be beside herself with worry. I just hope she's all right.
Deine Mom? Erzähl mal was davon.
What does your mother do, Mr. Martin?
She helps people.
I was hoping you'd be just a bit more specific.
She provides spiritual help to those who seek guidance.
She's a spiritualist.
Not quite. She's more like... How can I explain it? You know how a priest holds mass to spread the word of God to the people? My mother holds services and calls on the spirits to walk among us, providing healing and guidance.
So she's a religious leader?
If you want to give her that title, it would be the most appropriate.
And does this religion of yours have a name?
You'd probably know it as voodoo, but it doesn't mean what you think it does. People are so quick to judge and portray us as evil when they have no idea.
Okay, dann erklär doch mal dieses Voodoo.
So you practice voodoo, do you?
Are you making fun of me, Mr. Fordham?
Nein,
No, of course
aber
not.
Wissen.
Apologies if it seemed as though I was. It's just that the police are convinced that black magic was involved in Madame Dupre's apparent death.
That's because that idiot son of hers knew about my mother, and like all bigoted fools, assumed that we're involved in devil worship and the black arts. But I can assure you that this is most certainly not the case, Mr. Fordham.
Of course, I didn't mean to imply.
Just forget it.
That's all for now.
Wait, before you go,
Ja.
would you do me a favor? Would you go see my mother at our house and give her a message?
You're at 451 Compton Street, right?
Yes, that's right. Could you tell her I said St. Rock's dog is barking?
I suppose I could do that, yes.
Oh, thank you.
Whatever happened to a simple I love you?
Ich weiß nicht, ob ich das machen soll. Das war jetzt schon extrem verdächtig. Universität, aber eine Nachricht überbringen. Steht ja auch irgendwo. Nee. Ich weiß nicht, ob ich das machen soll. Komm mal,
He's watching you like a hawk. Looks liable to toss you in one of his cells if you try any funny business.
Okay, nix Neues. Gut, dann gehen wir mal. Ich weiß nicht, was ich so noch machen soll. Ich würde aber das... Wir machen mal eins kurz. Wir speichern mal. So, und gehen dann mal dahin. Da bin ich aber mal gespannt.
Ah, Compton. When's the last time you ate, anyway?
Sorry.
Please, let's not add eating to the list of things to nag me about.
Tür. Metzgerei. Taxidepot. Was gibt's hier noch?
Considering how many eating establishments are in this neighborhood, the butcher picked a fantastic spot to set up shop. I do notice a distinct lack of stray cats in this neighborhood, though.
Denkst du, dass der Katzenfahrer arbeitet? Nein, lecker.
Glad the Coulson still uses horses. I don't trust the new self-driving cabs.
Süß.
I'm glad the Coulson...
Okay, nix Neues. Sonst gibt's ja echt nix. Metzgerei, blablabla. Doch, Restaurant.
Bonbon's restaurant. I never got a chance to go there, but I hear their deviled eggs are simply to die for.
Naja, geschoben bist du ja schon kleiner. Gut, denke mal rein in die Tür.
I'm sorry, I have no time for visitors today.
Ich muss Ihnen über Albert Martin sprechen. Albert hat mir eine Nachricht für Sie gegeben. Entschuldigen Sie, dass ich Sie bitte hier.
I need to speak with you about Albert Martin.
Albert? Are you with the police?
No, I'm a private investigator.
Oh, I don't think you can help. I'm sorry.
Der Hund bellt noch, das heißt, sie lebt. Ich denke schon, dass sie damit irgendwie verstrickt wird. Ich will nicht herkommen und ihr das jetzt sage. Ich muss... Der Hund bellt. Das heißt, für mich ist das ein kleiner Geheimcode. Ich mach's mal nicht.
Sorry to bother you. I'll be on my way.
Good day to you, sir.
Kommt mir eigentlich verdächtig vor, diese komische Nachricht. Wir gehen mal zur Universität und reden mit ihr.
Huh. It's as though we've journeyed to the tropics. I don't know how you can stand to keep that coat on in here.
Lass mich doch. Muster haben wir hier, Gewächshaus selber. Juliet, Bonsaibaum, Apparat, große Blume, Gewächshaus.
Quite the assortment of plants they keep in here. I wonder if they serve any purpose or are just meant to look pretty.
Die sehen auch hübsch aus, glaub mir. Muster?
Those flowers are definitely not native to this area. They seem to be thriving in their glass tubes, though.
Bonsai?
One of those cute little Japanese trees that are all the rage these days. Personally, I don't see how giving a tree a haircut is meant to be relaxing.
Genau das Herumstimmen wird wahrscheinlich sehr beruhigend wirken. Ein kleiner Freund.
Judging from that pipe, that contraption must be used to keep the plants hydrated. But it looks like a giant earwax remover to me.
Sieht nach
Judging
was
from
aus?
that pipe, that contraption must be used to keep the plants hydrated.
Ohrenschmalzentferner.
But it looks like a giant earwax remover to me.
Wo ist
I've
die
never
Blume?
seen a flower grow that big. What do you suppose they're feeding them?
Naja, reden wir mit Juliet.
Pardon the disturbance, but are you Juliet Montgomery?
I am. And you are?
Miles Fordham. I'm a private investigator looking into the events surrounding your mother's attempted murder.
Ah, of course.
Have you got time to answer some questions?
Yes, that shouldn't be a problem.
Über Madame Dupré.
Do you know anything about the events leading up to your mother's premature interment?
No, it was a complete shock. Mother seemed to be perfectly healthy and full of life. Then, without warning, she was dead. Or so we thought.
I take it you were glad to be wrong?
What a ridiculous question. Of course I was. What sort of heartless beast would celebrate their mother's death?
Oh, I could name a few. Juliet definitely didn't shed any tears over Madame Dupre, though. That much is obvious.
Miss Montgomery, you don't have to lie to me. I'm not going to assume you tried killing your mother just because you weren't upset by her death.
I felt terrible about it. You have to understand, I didn't want her to be dead. I just felt a sense of relief. Please, don't think me a horrible person, Mr. Fordham. It's just that Mother and I aren't currently on the best of terms.
Wie sieht's mit eurer Beziehung aus?
Why don't you and your mother get along?
We've never completely seen eye to eye on anything. She always disapproved of anything I did. When I was younger, she used to forbid me from speaking to the servants. I saw no harm in a kind word or smile, but she warned us that if we were too familiar, they would take liberties. Then when I declared my intentions to pursue academic studies, she really went livid. In her opinion, a university education was tantamount to a chastity belt. What sort of man would want a wife with a head full of useless facts, she'd say.
Personally, I've always found intelligence to be quite attractive.
I assume your mother didn't approve of your involvement with Mr. Martin?
A rather forward question, Mr. Fordham. But you're not mistaken. I'm not sure how she managed to find out about Albert and me, but when she did, she nearly had a conniption. As I'm sure you can understand, the situation at home has been less than perfect in the last few months. I'd really rather not dwell on it.
Was mit dem Diener selbst?
You mentioned you were friends with the servants.
Yes, that's right. I didn't care that they worked for us. Everyone needs a friend.
Did your mother ever mistreat them?
Mistreat? No, I wouldn't say so. She was always very stern, though, and quite cold. If they ever shirked their duties or misbehaved, they were punished, of course, but nothing out of the ordinary that I ever saw. Most of the servants are my friends, but I'm closest with Amelie, the kitchen maid. Mother wasn't too happy about that. Amelie's been around as long as I can remember. She's like the aunt I never had.
Und wie... also das heißt, wir können mit der Küche vielleicht nochmal nachfragen dann. Das ist interessant. Und Albert Martin?
What can you tell me about Albert Martin?
I'm not quite sure where to begin.
Why not start by telling me what your relationship with him was?
We met here at the greenhouse. He was working as an assistant, sweeping and cleaning and fetching things for the students. My focus was on academics, naturally. I wasn't too interested in romance. In fact, I've had to turn away nearly every single one of my classmates. But with Albert, I found myself intrigued. I noticed him stealing glances, lingering just a bit too long after bringing over a book or flask, sweeping the same patch of floor near me over and over again. It wasn't too long before I had him bringing me tools and equipment, regularly.
I see.
As I mentioned, Mother was an absolute terror when she found out.
Do you believe Mr. Martin did what he stands accused of?
I'm not entirely sure. It doesn't seem like him, but Albert can be quite passionate. If the police believe he's to blame, then they must have a reason for it. It wasn't any secret that he hated Mother. Perhaps I should have ended things sooner. It was satisfying to know that Mother was displeased, but I never imagined it would lead to something like this.
Well, it's nice to see she's all heart.
Ja, ich sag mal schon halber, das wird noch ein interessanter Fall. Der wird noch richtig schön warm jetzt. Über sie selbst.
So, you study botany. Fascinating subject.
Are you an admirer of plants, Mr. Fordham?
My wife has the green thumb in the household, but I do have a certain appreciation for them.
Plants are amazing things, just like people in many ways.
How do you mean?
They need attention and care. Ignore a plant, and it will wither. Give it too much attention, and it will become sick. Plants have many things to teach us, and I greatly enjoy learning from them.
Ätherizität, was ist das bitte? Genau, gute Frage.
Do you know anything about ethericity, Miss Montgomery?
You surprised me, Mr. Fordham. I had no idea someone of your profession would know or care about something like that.
I've found that it pays to be open-minded.
To answer your question, yes, I am familiar with the theory of ethericity. In fact, it's recently become a focus of my studies. Despite what the newspapers have been reporting, it's already possible to access it in small quantities from the air around us.
Have you conducted any experiments?
No, my research has been purely theoretical. I don't have the means to do anything practical, I'm afraid.
Deceiver, dissembler, her trousers are alight. I can understand why Juliet might not want to make her research public, though.
Experimente.
Miss Montgomery, please don't lie to me. I know you've been conducting experiments with ethericity. I've seen the room you're renting on Forest Lane.
What? But how?
Ich habe eine Selbstschlüssel in ihrem Zimmer gefunden. Ihr Bruder hat mir von ihren Experimenten erzählt. Wenn ich solche Dinge nicht rausfinden würde, wäre ich nicht besonders gut im... Ah, genau, hier.
I wouldn't be very good at my job if I didn't find things out, Miss Montgomery. Now please, drop the act and tell me about your experiments.
Fine. I've been researching etheric effects on living organisms. I'm planning on presenting my discoveries to the board once I make more progress. So far, I've managed to discover that plant growth is accelerated significantly. It's given me quite the advantage in class.
But isn't that cheating?
You have no idea how difficult it's been for me to be taken seriously, Mr. Fordham. No matter how hard I tried, my work wasn't valued on its own merits by my peers or professors. I fought hard to get where I am. I wasn't about to lose all that just because some pig-headed idiots didn't think my best was good enough.
That sounds awfully familiar.
What about your notes on the effects of ethericity on animals?
Oh, those aren't complete. I haven't tested the effects on anything larger than flies. Those experiments were mainly to satisfy my curiosity, but they have little to do with my actual research.
Curiosity? Seems like a lot of effort to go to just to answer a question. But then, I never really understood these scientific types.
Gut, dann erzählen wir es auch über Andrew. Das war ein Bruder, meine ich, gell?
What can you tell me about your brother?
Genau.
Andrew, Mama's precious little boy.
Ja.
If you've met him, you pretty much know all you need to. He's had the whole world handed to him on a silver platter. But he's in for a rude awakening someday. Mother can only provide for him for so long.
No more questions for now.
Then if you don't mind, I have work to do.
Interessant, interessant, interessant.